Iraq's 2024 budget, not what it appears when it first meets the eye. All dinar related, all good. And I will say personally, we are in the best place we have ever been to see our blessing. Some real positive stuff out of Iraq this morning. Article, Al-Bandawi, Iraq is moving towards full sovereignty with America's commitment to withdraw its forces. Most of this withdrawal is happening before 2025. In other words, in the last and final part of this year. Why is this important? Sovereign currency, and sovereign country. And we have been told repeatedly that troops will be gone once US is paid. EA revaluation. Hopes for this year. Frank, my reason for saying this year is because everything that is needed in order to bring forth a new exchange rate and the lower notes is being shown and introduced this year. Very soon you're going to see bulletin boards in these new exchange centers with the pictures of the lower notes and the descriptions. All of this is important in November and December to prepare you for the launching of the new exchange rate and the new lower notes. If it happens to be next year, so be it. People are always trying to predict when is the exchange rate going to change. You're not going to see any exchange rate change until they feel comfortable and they feel stable in a new banking system, and they feel like they have all the kinks worked out. Then most likely you're going to see a redenomination and the new exchange rate take place. Then? Not before. We all know Iraq is about to take her place in the international financial system. Millions of people are going to be affected. It's really big. All they talked about this week was the HCL. As you know, the HCL cannot be with a program rate. It has to be with the new exchange rate. I've always said to you, the moment you see the HCL, nanoseconds later you'll see the new exchange rate. You're about to see the HCL because they're telling you this. Everything is supposed to be triggered Saturday night, which is the 16th, but it really shows up for us in the internet group Monday morning by noon. It's when we're supposed to get our notifications, and then we get set our appointments and go in for exchanges, either Monday, afternoon, evening or Tuesday. We should have Christmas before Thanksgiving, in a sense. I had an interesting conversation with my CBI contact, Wednesday. We talked about the new peg for the dinar. The new peg is established and will finally take the place for IQD peg, instead the sole de facto peg to the US dollar. I was told we will shortly see news articles on this subject matter as they educate the citizens. Mr. Sami reminds you, he said next year. Hopes for this year. Frank, my reason for saying this year is because everything that is needed in order to bring forth a new exchange rate and the lower notes is being shown and introduced this year. Very soon you're going to see bulletin boards in these new exchange centers with the pictures of the lower notes and the descriptions. All of this is important in November and December to prepare you for the launching of the new exchange rate and the new lower notes. If it happens to be next year, so be it. The head of the Iraqi Center for Political Thought, Ihsan al-Shamari, confirmed Thursday that 60% of the government cabinet is unqualified and has failed to implement the government program. Al-Shamari said in an interview with Al-Maluma agency, the government program stipulated allowing the Prime Minister space to re-evaluate the ministerial work and push for amendment. He added that al-Sudani spoke about the subject of the ministerial amendment a year after forming his government, but the political forces refused to carry it out at that time, indicating that the refusal is linked to political calculations, given that the parties forming the government will find that the amendment process is targeting them. He pointed out that the crisis of the Speaker of Parliament has greatly delayed the issue of the ministerial amendment, noting that al-Sudani is unable to proceed with the ministerial amendment, despite his diagnosis that 60% of the government cabinet is unqualified and has failed greatly in implementing the government program. He pointed out that there are ministries that were unable to provide an executive performance that differs from the nature of previous governments, adding that the political forces will find that the current attempt at amendment is part of a maneuver by al-Sudani so that he does not bear responsibility for the failure of his government. Member of the Parliamentary Security and Defense Committee, Ali al-Bandawi, said that Iraq is taking steps towards full sovereignty with the commitment of the United States of America to withdraw its forces. Al-Bandawi told Euphrates News that, regarding the agreement between Iraq and America on the withdrawal of international coalition forces from Iraq, the agreement was made between Iraq and America, and the Iraqi government is committed to this agreement, and a series of dialogues and meetings were held. He pointed out that the United States and the new American president are supposed to complete the agreements, especially since there is a need to go in the economic direction instead of the military or war direction.